Millions of Americans suffer from heartburn. Do you? Well, the good news is there are ways to treat it and even to prevent it. And paying us a house call this morning is Prevea Health gastroenterologist Dr. Roland Christian. Good morning.
Good morning, Rachel.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's answer the question, what is heartburn?
Well, Rachel, heartburn is a common term for acid reflux. And the acid that should be in the stomach to help digestion then refluxes or moves up into the esophagus. And in many people, when this is prolonged or frequent, it can cause heartburn type symptoms or a burning sensation.
I was kind of surprised by the statistics that you sent along and how many millions of Americans suffer from this.
Well, Rachel, if you have heartburn, you're in good company because lots of people have it. And understand that heartburn is a daily occurrence and it's normal to a certain degree in everyone. But heartburn, when it's more prolonged or more symptomatic, is when the issue becomes more of a health problem.
25 million suffer from it. 20,000 will develop reflux-induced cancer, and 40% of GERD patients don't get satisfactory relief. And why is that 40% not getting the relief?
Well, many times there's a number of factors that lead to more severe or significant heartburn. And I think you have a few items outlined here. And one of the main issues is diet and diet modification, Rachel. It's very important that people understand the triggers of heartburn. And here you have a few of the foods that tend to be the common triggers.
I'd like to dive into those burritos or the chocolates.
Can dive in, but you might get heartburn.
Okay.
Added to this might also be a cup of coffee and perhaps alcohol. And of course, not only is the content of the food, the fat content, certain sauces, perhaps tomato sauce, and we have chocolate here with nuts, which adds a little more fat to the food. Okay. These all precipitate heartburn. But also important is not only the composition, but the timing of the meal. For instance, if you eat this and then a half hour later lie down to sleep, you may have significant heartburn from the volume and also the nature of the food. Okay,
because we've heard that over the years, you know, when people who are trying to lose weight, some will say don't eat and then go to sleep. There's other reasons not to do that too, because it could cause heartburn. You have orange juice there. Is it because of the acidity of it?
Well, typically orange juice is a bit acidic, but it is not as acidic as the stomach acid. And indeed, the orange juice factor, it's more the sugar in the orange juice that's stimulating your own acid in the stomach.
Okay.
That's then leading to the reflux. So the volume of the food and the nature of the food tend to be important triggers. And we try to emphasize this at the Prevea Heartburn Clinic. We try to emphasize lifestyle modification and identifying risk factors prior to even instituting medications, which are sometimes used to treat heartburn.
Well, you say 30% of people who are on medications for heartburn might not even have it?
Correct. There are other conditions that can cause heartburn symptoms, and of course the term heart comes into play. And many times people that have heartburn symptoms may need other evaluations. For instance, they may need a heart evaluation or a lung evaluation. But many times with lifestyle modifications, certain diet modifications, achieving and maintaining a more ideal body weight, heartburn can be very effectively treated.
And how, we showed a little video during the teases leading up to this. What is this procedure doing? What is it and what does it do?
Well, the procedure that you're referring to is endoscopy, and I think you have a video clip here of an endoscopy. Understand that the patient is sedated during this procedure, and a tube is passed into the esophagus and essentially swallowed, and then we examine the esophagus and stomach lining. And what we're looking for here, Rachel, are the signs of heartburn and the issues. This is typically ulcerations or reddened areas. Sometimes in more severe cases there can be narrowings or strictures, and these can lead to swallowing difficulties and continued pain or more refractory symptoms.
And if you do find something serious, how do you treat it? Is it medication? Is it beyond that?
Again, if you find ulcerations, which on this esophagus we're not seeing just yet, this is the esophagus and we're coming up to the stomach here shortly. Typically the ulcerations would occur right here where the esophagus is connecting with the stomach. And in this case, if there's ulcerations, we do typically treat the patient with medications to reduce acid content of the stomach and prevent the heartburn.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Christian from Prevea Health, for giving us a house call and helping us learn a little bit more about heartburn and avoiding these foods. I'll avoid them tomorrow. How about that?
Good for you.
Just kidding. Thank you so much for being here. There are some of the most